Hello, this is Anime Vision, and welcome to part 3 of MHA Apocalypse, or pretty much what I've been typing since, I don't know. I've really enjoyed doing this series, but so far, it has not been well received. So, if you have any friends at all who like or what ifs or watch anime or anything like that, I'm making tons of hand gestures and I have no idea why. Anyway, if you have any friends that like this kind of stuff, suggest it to them. I've suggested to my friends, but they personally hate me. Just kidding. Let's see. Okay, you want me to kick the ball? Go get the ball. Now, my dogs really want attention. Okay, so last where we left off, Deku, he had woken up and saw his reflection, and it kind of spooked him. Now, his hair is not completely white. It's still the green and black, but a strand of it is white. His eyes are not like the infected. They're not, well, they're crimson red, but they don't have that glowing that the infected do. They don't have that glow. But Deku is more, well, he's buffer is what I'm saying. Like, he looks at how he did at the end of the 10 months of training. Like that. And yet he hasn't exercised pretty much at all. Also, he was bitten by All Might. And this kinda made One for All and the virus fuse together, kind of creating a new form of the virus, which is what Deku has been infected by. And pretty much how this virus is gonna work is, well, if he eats one of the infected, he'll gain like a power boost. Like a small power boost. But if they keep their quirk, then Deku might, well, depending on how much of the person he eats, he'll gain more aspect of that person. Like, more of the quirk. But if he eats a live person, like, if he eats a zombie, and he would only get the quirk temporarily, but he'd get a tiny bit of a power boost. That would stay with him for forever. If he ate an actual person, though, the boost is permanent. And the quirk will fuse with the virus, kinda making it work differently than how it was before. Now, whenever Deku activates One for All, his eyes do glow slightly. And the lightning is black and red instead of the green color. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and get into the story. So, Deku, he is very, very worried at the moment. He is just looking around, seeing all the infected. And as long as he, hold on, as long as he doesn't move around too much, he's able to get off the infected's radar. Now, Deku, he's more of like the infected will still go after him. It's just they would favor someone else more. Like, would you rather have, like, I don't know, your second favorite food or your first favorite food? And then, like, that. Also, there's Deku, since his form of virus stems from the other virus, he is able, to kind of get off the radar a little bit better. Meaning some of their senses won't work as well. As long as he's not bleeding, then he'll be, like, relatively fine. Whenever, but if he makes any loud noise or anything like that, right, as long as he's not bleeding or making any loud noises, he's fine. And if he's standing next to someone who's a regular human, the zombies will go after them first. So, now continuing into the story, Deku, he's very confused around what's going on right now, but he's trying to evade as many of the infected as possible. He decides to kind of claw his way up the building. And by claw, I mean actually claw. He's realized he has the same sharp nails that the infected do. The infected are able to retract, their nails whenever they want. So can Deku. And the moment I said that, it reminded me so much of Sabretooth and Wolverine. Yeah. Now. Don't know. Okay, I have an idea. Also, sorry for the background noise. Can do absolutely nothing about that. At all. Okie dokie then. Okay. Now. Okay. So, Deku. There's a bug on my screen. Okay. So, Deku, he's while climbing up the building, having a lot of trouble doing so. Finally gets to the top and decides to check out the surroundings. He can tell that at least a day has passed since all the fires are out. Well, most of the fires are out. And there doesn't happen to be any blood-curdling screams. So Deku assumes he's been out for a little while. Some infected have noticed him, but Deku always managed to get away. So Deku kinda, he understands what is happening. Well, he kinda understands what's happening. He has noticed his physical, he has seen his physical changes. So he knows he's infected. But the reason why it's so different for him still just, it's still just, he just doesn't know. It's still just a mystery. But he does know he needs to get out of that little city area as soon as possible. He decides he'll try and make his way towards, the store he used to be at. Because he knows that, a good chunk of the people he was with survived. So Deku, he tried to remember what it was like when he was startled, and try and get that feeling back. Oh, because he felt stronger whenever that lightning was there. All that, and he felt energy go through his entire body. Now, he activates 5% of One For All, which, because the virus was amplifying any enhancements, 5% of One For All was equal to 100. 5% of One For All now is 10% of One For All then. From before. Because I said that it enhanced physical abilities. So, physical quirks got enhancements. Now, Deku, he was starting to get the overwhelming urge of hunger. Just like how Kaneki was at the beginning. Whenever he saw a dead body while sneaking by, as the infected were all feasting, he was kind of freaked out that he was getting hungrier by looking at it. He slapped himself in the face, and he just moved as quickly as possible, using that newfound power to move faster. Now, Deku, while going, the hunger is just starting to get to be too much. So, he's going to go try and find where where all the food is kept. After sneaking around, managing to not be caught, he gets in there and sees all the raw meat. Now, his primalistic impulses just kind of kick in, and he starts unwrapping everything, trying to eat it as fast as possible. Whenever he's about to take a bite of some chicken, I guess, he kind of stops himself, holding himself back as much as he possibly could. He started thinking, is he even still alive? Well, I'm popular today, woohoo. Like how whenever I don't record, they never come out. Whenever I do, that's when they suddenly want to get, all chatty and everything. So, yahoo! Woohoo! Wakfu! I don't know what I want to do. Okay, so he decides to try and check his own pulse. He did feel his pulse, and it was only 3 beats a minute. So Deku knows he is still alive. So eating raw food may affect him. And he also has to worry about being have malnutrition. Pretty much, it may have boosted all of his everything physical, but now he knows he's not like the infected. He can get tired. The infected just don't ever seem to be tired. And he looked at one of the studies that Nezu was doing, and it appears that the infected, that one of the infected that he was trying to see how they work, trying to see if they even had to sleep or anything. He put the infected in a small closet with a treadmill inside. The treadmill was always turned up to max, and there was a raw piece of meat dangling just out of the reach of the infected. The recorder, the camera recorded the entire thing, and the infected ran for 9 straight days. Hey, shoot. Hasn't even been that long since the infection even started. Shoot. He ran for 3 straight days. Okay, move door. And my dog is running in the complete opposite direction. Okay, my dog is half deaf and completely blind. He's also over 19 years old now, and yet he's still as energetic as a tiny little puppy. Like, the puppy we have is actually less energetic than our 19-year-old dog. It's kind of crazy. Okay. Anyway, so 3 days. 3 days. And after those 3 days of running with the treadmill being at full speed, and it keeping the pace the entire time, it did not fall. It didn't really even do anything. It just stayed there. It wasn't even... There was a thing hooked up to it to see if its oxygen intake and its heartbeat. To read that stuff, the heartbeat always stayed at 0. The oxygen intake was also at 0. So Nezu was trying to find out what is powering and what is powering them. What is making them go? But they have a preference. If there's an animal, or if there's a wounded animal nearby, or to the perfectly healthy human, they go after the human. They can also even sense weakness. If you're sick, it's like they can sense it. Like a wild animal, like a wolf knows that you're scared. And Decker, after remembering this, she kind of decides to keep moving. Stop. He did still find that he still had to breathe. So he didn't really get that trait. But he doesn't have to breathe for a while. It's like being able to hold your breath, like not having to breathe for 15 minutes at a time, and then finally having to. But it seems like it seems that the infection is slowly starting to take more and more of a hold. He's felt himself get stronger. He's not really understanding what's going on. But he just gets out of that part of the city. He gets out of the UA city area. He gets into a car that was in a parking lot. And the car was unlocked, but there was no keys. Now, Deku doesn't know how to hotwire a car. But he did see a video. He did see a cartoon where a guy just shoved a screwdriver into a keyhole, turned the screwdriver, and it started working. He decided to give that a try. And so he looked around. For any screwdrivers or anything. He went into the UA building, trying to avoid as much conflict as possible. Getting inside, going into the support item class. And he then proceeded to get some tools. He went back to the parking lot, got in the car. After doing that, though, the car horn went wild. It just would not stop. It alerted every one of the infected in UA. They all started running towards this location. Deku struggled to try and get the car to start, turning the screwdriver. It finally started, and he just booked it. He slammed on the gas pedal and started going down the highway. The infected can move up to 40 miles an hour. So, they're fast. Very fast. But it takes them a little bit of time to get up to that speed. They just can't go from 0 to 100 takes him a few seconds. That's how people have been able to avoid the infected for that long, for as long as they have. So Deku began going as fast as he could, driving, and he finally got to the outskirts of the city where the store was located. Deku went inside, seeing that the fence is still up, hoping to see warm smiles. Everyone is thinking that he was alive. Though whenever he got in there, all he saw were broken lights and blood everywhere. So Deku thought that was not a very good sign. He started looking around. This is when he saw the Sugar Rush guy with his arm torn off. With a chunk of flesh. His eye, a chunk of flesh in his mouth. His eye hanging out of the socket. A broken knife stabbed into his arm. Leaning over, see who. I don't know, who should it be? I guess, Ashido. Yeah, Mina. So, she is dead. Now, Mina started getting up. Both the Sugar Rush guy and Mina were looking at Deku. Ashido's originally pink skin started turning into a lighter pigment, as if her skin would be see-through, while still keeping that slight pinkish color. Her horns were broken. Her eyes had a glowing red. Her hair started turning into a whitish color. Deku didn't want to do what he was about to do. Because so far, he's only killed villains. And just random people. He hasn't killed anyone he has known. Yes, he's felt bad and he's had nightmares about the other people. But this is gonna affect him way more. He looked around, seeing if there's any weapons. And he saw the body of President Mike on the ground as well, with a pitchfork completely jabbed through his head. He hears some shouting outside, saying, "Hurry up, let's go!" And they said, "We have to wait for Ashido, she's holding off the rest of them." Deku continues looking around for a weapon, and he doesn't see anything but just random corpses lying around. Some of them look fresh. And Deku's just thinking someone tried to raid, but they were bitten but one of them must have gotten bitten before coming in. So kind of deducing what happened. The Sugar Rush guy quickly got a hold of Deku. He seems stronger than the other ones. Looks like he doesn't even need sugar. All he needs is blood. All he needs is flesh, and that amps up his strength. Kind of changed his quirk. And since he just ate a chunk of it, Deku now had to fight them off. He should grab the closest thing near him, which was, like one of those foldable chairs. And he just kind of broke off a piece of it with just one hand. He's charging up One for All to 5%, and it's allowed him to break it with just one hand. The smell of blood is starting to drive Deku crazy. Now his eyes, that were originally just a crimson red, not glowing like the infected, the white part of his eyes turned black. His pupils turned red. Well, turned an even more, a more crimson red. It started glowing. And instead of actually hitting the Sugar Rush guy with the chair, Deku just grabbed the Sugar Rush guy's head and bit into him, tearing off the guy's head. And the infected Ashido started running towards Deku. Deku grabbed her and started devouring. He could feel himself slowly get stronger. And Deku, in a more rage-filled and weird state, which if any of you have seen iZombie, the full-on zombie mode, it's basically what's going on right now. Whenever Deku gets angry enough, sad enough, or if he's just in a state of survival, like if he's in a state where he needs, where he's about to die, this will happen. Or if he gets too hungry, he'll start losing his mind, going into this feral state. So, Deku began devouring everyone nearby, blood going all over him, covering his hair. His hair was slowly turning white. That little bit of white hair began spreading. As Deku just began feasting on everything in there, feeling himself get stronger. The infection taking better hold. Now, as I said before, eating an infected will get you a temporary boost if they have a quirk. But Mina couldn't use hers, but the Sugar Rush guy did, so he's also getting a boost from that. He does still get a small permanent boost, but nothing very serious. Oh, shoot. Now, Deku, he hears someone come in asking if Mina was alright, not knowing that Mina was dead. This was Ochako. She looked in, seeing the blood and guts everywhere. Mina's head was on one of the shelves, and Ochako looked like she was about to cry. Ida, Bakugo, and Todoroki came in, along with Izawa, and they all saw the horrible bloody mess. Seeing students from 1B, 1A, generally other kids, some people, they're all devoured, and they just looked to see if there's any survivors, anyone else. And they just saw blood leaking from the mouth of an infected. They could see from the shadows. The only thing they could see was the blood dripping out of his mouth, the black and red eyes, the white hair, and a very sinister look. Deku slowly began walking more into the blinking light. They all were kind of being slowly more disgusted at what they saw. Hello. Okay. So, I need to hurry up in this video. Deku stepped further into the light. Everyone was kind of disgusted. They saw him covered in blood. There was so much blood and guts, they couldn't even see who it was. Part of Deku's hair, which they originally thought was just white, was stained with the blood of everyone around him. After stepping further into the light, everyone realized who he was. Bakugo kind of looked sorry for him. Deku's eyes slowly started turning back to normal, realizing who was there as well. After realizing what he had just done, his eyes began to turn back to the normal thing. It was a normal color. Well, the red color, not his original white color. But tears started coming from his eyes. Being as he hasn't talked or drank anything in a while, his voice was very raspy. He looked at them and just said, "Kill me." Bakugo just kind of turned his head and put a bullet in Deku's heart. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Until next time, goodbye.